Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, being a great warrior, maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go. Way
I have to put the joke.
No, hey. Thank you. Perfect. For playing, man. I appreciate you.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
¡Óyeme! Estamos en vivo, damas y caballeros. En vivo. We are LongLiveBoxing en vivo podcast. Como siempre, aquí con ustedes, los tres locos amigos, Manny Marrero.
Sean Gringo Hicks.
Hopper.
We come here breaking it down like it is always, like it should be, like you fans deserve the right to know shit the right way, the way that has a fan perspective. And pretty excited for another weekend here at the Sunday series of a recap. Could be a recap of some of the boxing action that happened and also recap on some of the gossips and all the craziness that's happening in the boxing world.
Yeah.
We're here to break it down. So I hope you guys enjoy this next hour with the three locos amigos.
Like it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get into it. So without further ado, Hopper, go ahead and take it away. There's a fight you want to touch on that you think needs a lot more love, and we agree.
Yeah, definitely. We talk all the boxing. We watch all the boxing. We don't just talk about the main stars, the Pacquiaos, Canelos. Nah, we watch it all. Yesterday in England, there was a fight I was particularly interested in. Sam Maxwell was fighting Akeem Ennis-Brown in the super lightweight division. Akeem Ennis-Brown was the champion. They were fighting for the British and Commonwealth titles. I wanted to see the reason I found this fight intriguing was I wanted to see what these two gentlemen or where they would rank in the 140-pound division with some of the dogs that are there. The two men, they're promoted by Queensberry. It was a arena in Birmingham. It was live on BT Sport. Sam Maxwell won a controversial decision. They pretty much gave him the fight. We'll touch on that. I'll touch on that here a little bit. We got some donkey judges of the week. Definitely scoring that fight the way it was. It was a very awkward fight. Akeem Ennis-Brown is a very, very quirky fighter. Think Vaquero Navarrete, but without the power. A poorer version of Vaquero Navarrete. So that's Akeem Ennis-Brown. He's quirky. He's gonna jump in with the jab, constantly shifting, always moving his head, goes in and holds. He spent the first half of the fight fighting off of his back foot and was having great success. Sam Maxwell didn't really land a lot of punches, and that's a credit to Akeem Ennis-Brown, his shiftiness, his quirkiness. And Sam Maxwell completely forgot about the body. If you attack the body, I think that would have helped neutralizing some of Akeem Ennis-Brown's shiftiness. The fight was ugly. It was a lot of holds, clinches, rabbit punches, dirty tactics. But
it was dirty. Yeah, it was kind of filthy.
Yeah, it was a normal boxing fight, I guess. But it was a pretty clear win for Akeem Ennis-Brown, in my opinion. So they controversially gave it to Sam Maxwell. I think Brown dictated the pace of the fight. It was fought at his liking. He was landing on the punches, avoided getting hit. So, and my donkey judges of the week, Marcus McDonald, Steve Gray, they both scored it 116-113 for Sam Maxwell, which the scores card in itself is kind of odd, Usually A rounds to 4 is 116-112. They must have had like a 10-10 round or something, but that's pretty wide. I think those three guys, Carl Frampton put it best. Only the three judges and Sam Maxwell's corner thought that he won the fight. This was a pretty clear win for Akeem Ennis-Brown. I mean, he didn't get the result that he wanted. It was a dirty tactic fight, but I enjoyed watching it. We talk all the boxing. Anthony Yarde was also on the card, so it was a decent night of action. And to answer my leading question to see where these guys stack up in the 140-pound division, Sam Maxwell, he was ranked 10th in the WBO. I mean, but we all know who the man is at 140 pounds. That is Josh Taylor. Neither of these guys do anything to Josh Taylor, and I don't even think they beat the top guys. They don't beat Jose Ramirez, Chon Cepeda, Regis Prograis, and I even think that Jack Catterall and Arnold Barbosa Jr. give them their loss. You know, the competition at 140 pounds is fierce, and I think Sam Maxwell and Akeem Ennis-Brown I think their level is going to be the English domestic title level that they fought for last night, and I can't see them competing with the top dogs at 140 pounds.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No,
we even haven't talked about some of the other guys that are actually moving up and trying to contend for any of those titles. You got, some of the Puerto Ricans, Subriel Matias. You got actually as well, even Sniper Pedraza. He's looking to at least 2 fights, one more fight, and then fight again for capture another world title. And
I think Sniper puts a whooping on both of them. I really do.
Absolutely. And then you got the Magic Jomar Alamo as well. And I'm not trying to deviate things from the Puerto Rican boxing, but these are some of the great top contenders at the 140. And we can't part ways with some of the other guys that are actually waiting out there. Roberto Puello from Santo Domingo, and even Regis Prograis. Whether he probably
Regis hurts these guys.
47, but still, he's still a big threat at the 140.
Huge threat.
Yeah.
So I can't see either of these guys, Sam Maxwell or Akeem Ennis-Brown, competing at the for a legit 140 title. Josh Taylor has them all right now, so they're not beating him anytime soon unless he vacates. But either way. That's my opinion. That's where good
fight. They could be a pretty good fight for a comeback for Jose Ramirez. That could be something.
There you go. Yeah, I can see Jose Ramirez fighting one of them. Yeah, nice comeback fight against Sam Maxwell.
Right.
But will Queensberry Promotions be willing to take that chance? And they're trying to protect Sam Maxwell. They definitely see that he will be.
It's a payday, and I know a guy that always says the payday word very good.
Payday,
right?
You want payday? I know that.
Want a payday? That's a fight that Maxwell wants to be able to have.
No, that's actually a good point. We always think in terms of what the winner of a big fight will do, but coming back off a loss, how they're going to respond, and if those are possible opponents, I'm all for it. I'm hoping that Queensberry doesn't protect him, and they go ahead and put him out there. But I mean, like we know the game, and they're going to try to stretch it out as long as they can.
You're right, Gringo, you're right. And then the way that fight went down. It was a clear win for Akeem Ennis-Brown. It was given to Sam Maxwell. It was a bogus scorecard. Donkey judges of the week. They hit again, and it's not Moretti this time. So
it's not Moretti. Shout out to Moretti. So hey, good stuff. Hop, love it. So Manny, you were heavily vested in Telemundo. So give us a little bit of that, sir. Were you disappointed? Was the card entertaining? I know some fighters in there that were heavily vested in that you wanted to see how they performed, and did they live up to expectations?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, what are you doing on a Friday night, right? And if you're a boxing fan, casual, or someone trying to get into the sport, this is the chance, man. Friday night, I think Telemundo continues to deliver. A lot of people may think about, well, what's the main event? Is it really worth it, me spending some time? It is a little bit late at night. It is 11 o'clock Central Time, which is 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Some of the fights are actually, pre-recorded, but, they start with the main event. And, I think it was good, man. I mean, I think the main event, which, by the way, All-Star Boxing in association with Pro Box Promotion and Tutito Zavala Jr., they bring some action, and they want to continue to deliver the guys that they currently have. And so, the main event, a brutal slugfest. You got two-time world challenger, Cesar Corazon Juarez, 23-10 with 19 knockouts. He ended that win streak of the WBA number 8 and WBC number 15 when it comes to the featherweights. Denis El Martillo Contreras. He currently is 24, 12, 1, and 22 knockouts. I mean, for a fact that it was going to be a slugfest. So he took it upon a 10-round unanimous decision. This was at White Sands Event Center Park in Florida.
Plant City,
Florida. Shout out to
Elcano. I think he was down there as well, and
he was in front row.
Sit in front row there with all the guys out there. But Juarez, man, I mean, he was extremely aggressive. He was preventing Contreras from getting the distance he wanted. He did hurt Contreras in the round number, I think it was round number 2. and he battered him the entire round. You know, Contreras' best round was round number 8, but you know, Juarez put the heat on when it matters, and that's the championship rounds. And then round 9 and 10, he was really solid and pulling up a unanimous decision. I saw it 96-94. I think that's a couple of the judges had it the same way. One judge had a 97-93, no donkey of the show at this one. But Juarez wins the WBA Federal Center, featherweight title. So he is there for another opportunity. A lot of people thought that, with 23 and 24 now and 10 losses, that was kind of like the end of the career for Contreras, but for Juarez. But I think right now he has rejuvenated his opportunity and his career to probably continue on to try to something to see happens in that very hot featherweight division.
Division. Oh yeah.
We talked about the junior welterweight. The featherweight is pretty intense right now. And I don't know if we're ever going to see some consolidation when it comes to championship level. Navarrete, it seems to be like the solid guy leading, the pack at the 126. Gary Russell Jr. You name it. Are we going to see big fights? I don't know. But all of a sudden, some of these guys are emerging and trying to say, hey, I'm here. I want an opportunity. Maybe I want a payday.
Payday.
You want payday?
With that being said, this is something pretty amazing opportunity for them. We had other actions in there as well. Unbeaten heavyweight guys. Steven Big Shot 15-0, 11 knockouts. Just needed 108 seconds to knock out Nicholas Davis, right? But he came out very impressive as well. That was a pretty good co-main event for that. Also as well.
Who else did we have on there? Didn't we have some people that you're pretty familiar with?
I am, and sadly enough, I had to see one of our biggest prospect from the island of Puerto Rico, also unbeaten top-ranked welterweight prospect Omar, the new era Rosario 5-0.
Rosario,
2 knockouts. He defeated
shout out.
Missouri by unanimous decision over 4 rounds. Also as well, the super welterweight Brian the Hunter Polaco. He improved 5-0 with 4 knockouts. He stopped Justin Gunter. That was a very good fighting where Brian is tall. This guy is, they call him a negro malo. He's like the mean ass black guy right now when it comes to the Puerto Rican. He doesn't care.
Does he have a meaner face? Does he have a meaner face than Supernova? Because Supernova has that mean face.
Nobody has a meaner face than Supernova, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Supernova. But he looked a little bit rusty, but I think he stuck to his game plan and the jab. He's got such a good reach that jab was just pounding. Just keeping keeping his opponent a little bit back, and Justin really couldn't hang with the fact that you come with the right hand in there. And one of the interesting thing, guys, is that Brian Hunter Polaco right now is training with one of the hottest coaches in town, David, Florida, Sweatbox Boxing Gym, Javier Centeno. He looked a little bit rusty. It's been a while he hadn't, fought, at the 150, 154. But, this is a great, huge prospect for Puerto Rico in terms of like leading the pack in that division and continue his path to work himself into a future contendership, for a world title 2, 3, 4 years down the line. So I think he did a great job in, coming back and, selecting, one of the hottest coaches that's leading him to work on some of the areas that he needs to work and improve on. Well, I'm glad he got the knockout.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so he got that 5th round knockout. We got some comments I want to read real quick. Shout out. Thanks for everybody that's tuning in, whether it's live or later on.
Yes.
We love it, man. Appreciate you. So got to send some shout out to our brother from another mother, Cano Loco Sports. He was actually the first person that I heard about. Not just talk about Polaco and Rosario, but talking about Shaw. I know he's real high on Shaw, and Cano's out there doing his thing, man, driving all over Florida, making it happen. He's the rainmaker. All right. Shout out to our girl Esme. Much love. Thank you so much.
Need some more of that hot sauce.
Shout out to Tijuana in the house. Every day. So we got a comment here. JD Boxing. Thanks for checking us out, man. appreciate it. Well, it's possible that Wood versus Colon for the WBA at 126. I don't see Wood coming back. Then a possible unification bout with Kid Galahad.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
That's what's in the works for him. I'm thinking. I remember reading an article. I think it was Lee Wood, Michael Conlon, and I think they were going to force Leo Santa Cruz to fight the winner.
Right.
Last I heard, but we know how stuff in boxing changes, and nothing really gets done until it gets done. So, but I would love to see Wood versus Conlon, and then the Leo Santa Cruz fight the winner. Will it happen? Probably not. But
yeah,
it's and then the unification.
I mean, you gotta have hope. You gotta have hope.
Was I too negative on that? Was I too much?
No, I think it's fine. I think something's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
That's kind of where we are as boxing fans. I mean, so yeah, definitely appreciate the comment, JD Boxing. Good stuff there, and man, hopefully that does take place. So we got another comment from a brother from another mother, Kano Local Sports. Live and in person. Brian Polaco fight was a co-main. He only trained with him for one fight. Coach Sierra is the actual trainer. Yeah, I figured it was kind of like a sub, and Coach Sierra had been his, But I mean, to have your fill-in, if you will, to be Coach Centeno, I think is pretty great. And I know that Brian Polaco, from what I like when I watch him fight, I know you guys have different things. Is obviously the way he controls the ring with his just raw athleticism, and he's got a nice power jab that I think he did actually display a little bit. So good stuff there.
Well, I want to appreciate Kano for keeping us on the loop, right? I think sometimes we catch up in certain things, sometimes we don't know about, but that's very interesting to know. I was thinking, ¿qué pasó con Sierra? ¿Verdad? No tenía entendido qué pasó. Yo sé que entiendo en algún momento, yo sé que Javier Centeno como que abrió las puertas para poder invitar boxeadores a que vengan a una especie de bootcamp durante el verano, y yo creo que vi a Brian Polaco durante ese tiempo participando de ese bootcamp. No sabía si exactamente después de eso fue el que él decidió started to join forces with them, or it wasn't in this fight. I appreciate Conor for keeping us on the loop. Listen, we can't wait for this prospect to continue to work in his craft, to continue to evolve, because there's a great opportunities, and these guys are hungry. These kids want to make it happen. They got a great work ethic. They're mean-ass kids, but they really want to do good for the sport, not only inside the ring, but outside the ring. And that's what really matters nowadays. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. Everyone ultimately wants the world championship, but you got to work hard for that. And I think these kids are guided the right way to make sure that ultimately they reach that goal.
Oh, hey, good stuff, man. Well said. So appreciate that comment. Appreciate the response by you, Manny, as always, sir. So JD Boxing, how do you guys see Yard versus Arthur 2 playing out? Man, first of all, I'm excited about that. I'm actually a big fan of Yard.
Me too.
So I probably rate him maybe a little bit higher than most people. I know some people are dismissive because of, Kovalev, which, I mean,
he almost knocked out Kovalev.
He almost did.
He had him in serious danger.
But he did not.
And then just got gassed out, and Kovalev dropped him with that jab and ended him. But
right. So, but what do you guys think of the fight, though?
That's a spicy rematch. Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yard. I mean, the first one was 115, 114. That was, and the third one was. The third one was a disgusting scorecard. It was 117, 111 a yard. I thought it was a pretty even fight. Arthur, he opened up early, but Yardy came back stronger late in the bout. It wasn't, not too much action, but as a boxing fan, I'll take it. And then the rematch, I think there'll be a little bit bad blood between these two now. The way, especially considering the way the first fight went. So hey, I'm all for it. And I think last I read, it's gonna be sometime in October. I think that's when they're shooting for it.
Hopefully so, man. Hopefully so. But I'm all for it. My
I
bias
like it. I'm
Yard.
all for it too. I'm only concerned for Yard's, resistance at the end of the rounds. Couple of things happened with that.
Built muscular. That's what it is.
He was in Kovalev's backyard, so he's against the people in the crowd there. And the second thing is he ran out of gas around the 11th round. That's
way too muscular. Way too muscular. That's what Anthony Joshua had.
all the way out to the end, I mean, that's where everything counts. So at this time, has Yard worked on his craft? Have Yard had that stamina to finish up all the way down to the championship rounds? That's what I really want to see on this second fight. Because still, guys, I mean, the 175 still up for grabs, still up for, leading into
until Canelo goes up there and takes all the belts.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's the guy who
yeah.
We'll see. No, definitely, but no. Hey, we appreciate the question, and we definitely are excited for it, and we'll definitely be checking it out, and we'll definitely be commenting on it after.
We'll be talking about it Sunday.
Yeah, look forward to that, or don't look forward to it. So, Kano Loco Sports, the guy that I refer to as AKA Mr. Source, he doesn't need a source; he is the source. The source, sir. He said, Coach Sierra's wife, it was her birthday, so he took time off. Man, what an insider this man is. I have no idea. I didn't even know Coach was married.
So. Sierra on the one thing, so that's number one. Number two is what a better way to get a replacement. Like I said, from one of the hottest coaches in town. And by the way, a lot of people are not talking about, and I know it's kind of finalized already. Finally, we're going to see Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. No one's really talking about the how Kambosos has been training, how hard he's been dedicated, and how great he looks and ready to take upon the champion. So, trained by Javier Centeno, getting a lot of attention right now. And Javier's got so many great prospects. This fight could be a fight that can elevate that stable into a different level. You got to get chances. You got to give some chances. When you train hard and you have the will and you're ready for the action, although who's your opponent, and your opponent is none other than, unified, lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez, still, anything can happen inside the boxing ring. And I'm not going to rule out anything in Kambosos. I know Teofimo, it is who he is, right? And we know for a fact people are going to favor him. Who is Kambosos? Nobody really knows who he is. But we as boxing fans, we know who he is, and we still got to give him a chance because the guy is training his ass off to make sure he becomes the next world champion.
No, absolutely. Anything could happen. And, fights, I mean, I'm tired of them talking about what if, scenarios that they need to happen. Especially when you get to these level, these guys, they win the belt and they sit on there, and I'm just tired of it, man. I want to show and prove. I want these guys to actually back up their actions and their talk. Back up their talk with action, I should say. So, real quick, we got some voicemails. For those who got the number on there,
voicemails
682-266-5957. Now, you can just give a comment on something that happened during the week or something you're looking forward to, or you can just talk about how much you love or hate or whatever. As long as it's boxing related, we're gonna go ahead and play it.
Whatever. What dumb thing did Manny say this week?
All right, here we go. The first one, guys.
The show, Long Live Boxing EnVivo. What are you guys' thoughts on the WBA eliminating all interim belts? Is that good for boxing? That's all, man. Keep up the good work. Good stuff, Hopper.
All right. Like the way you shot out my brother Hopper. But hey, good question there. You can't, talk about boxing without something that's significant. I know for myself, the WBA, has a negative acronym right now. It's what basically, what Al Heyman wants, as far as, they have such a connection and rapport with, the PBC. Let's go ahead and say that. When I say Al, I'm saying Al Heyman. Tank Davis. But, you got to give credit where credit is due. We find ourselves being so negative so often in boxing. When something that does happen that's positive, and that I view as a positive thing, less is more, I think we have to definitely call it out. And I look at this as a positive thing. Now, I know it's not going to be an easy road. Gilberto Mendoza recently came out and he did an awesome interview to, the Boxing Voice. Shout out to them, where he was breaking everything down. Now, again, I know these guys are slick and he's explaining everything and he's using big words. And, I'm a sucker for that. But, underneath the layers of the words, he's saying some key things as far as he is a boxing fan. His father that preceded him 33 years in the fight game. And he ultimately wants, and I do believe this, I think it's what it all boils down to. He does want less belts. He wants every division to have just one belt. But the reason why he said they don't is because a lot of these promoters are pressuring them. So he made no bones about it. And the sanctioning fees and they because the promoters want to have more belts, right? Newsflash, so they can use them in negotiation with the networks. Like every network, they only want champions. So how can you have more champions? There's only so many. You got to make up fictional, champions.
You're a champion. You're a champion. You're a champion.
We're all champions. Hey, I got champion.
You're a WBA champion too, man. You're the WBA. What's that?
What do you think about it? Is it good news?
I'm loving it. I'm you know how much I hate the WBA and their stupid 4 belt per division.
How you really feel?
Horrible, man. And no, when this came about, I tell you who didn't like it. I bet you there were a lot of people. Daniel Dubois, Chris Eubank Jr., Rolly Romero, Raíz Alin, Chris Colbert, Luis Concepcion. They were mad. I'm sure they were pissed off because they were all the WBA interim champions. They're not champions anymore. Now you're going to have to actually go up and earn the real belt. This is a good step for the WBA. I love it. I'm all for it. Eliminate the bogus whack titles. They have interim, super, regular, gold. Right. Man, fuck, how many titles are they going to need?
JC Penny, the Kool-Aid belt.
And now what's even better is that
belts,
the interim champions, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be ranked high to be forced to a mandatory position for one of the other WBA belts. Yeah. So if it leads to better fights, hell yeah, I'm all for it, baby. Good job, WBA. Shout out to you. I know I give you guys a hard time. I always do. But this is a step in the right direction. I'm all for it, and keep it up. Bravo.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, it always makes me nervous when we agree. But I think on this, I think all boxing fans, when it comes to the belts, less is more. Now, his reasoning came from a business mindset as far as they use it for negotiations. He was actually sharing, again on the Boxing Voice on that interview, which was very good. That they get sued all the time. He said they're literally getting sued right now by Don King over Char for the heavyweight WBA belt. So he said a lot of times, not just for the pressure of the sanctioning fees, they put the belt out there to appease these promoters so they don't get sued. So I mean, it's a convoluted mess. So they're going to start in October, where this is going to be transitioning from the interim to the mandatory, which I love. And he's the part I didn't like though is when he kind of wavered on, this automatically means that no more regular, it just goes to super, no more gold. He said that's the goal, but they have more discussions, but ultimately that is the goal. And he said it's about an 18-month process. Manny, what's your thoughts on it? Good, bad, and different?
I mean, I kind of like it. I do. I'm tired of the gold, silver, black, yellow, purple. I don't like any of that stuff. But what I do like is what Hopper said is if you can have a piece of a interim belt, meaning that if you earn that spot to be the next challenger for the WBA and you get an interim belt, so that way you can work your way and say, God, I'm next. I have the interim. I'm going to exchange that for the world champion. I'm okay with an interim belt. I am not okay with the gold, platinum, silver, anything of that. And we get for a fact that underneath the interim belt, there's also other different belts that actually categorize you as a top 10, top 15, top 20 in the division. WBO's got the NABO, WBC, the Fed, et cetera, the Latino, the this and that. I mean, you got too many belts. I think you got to keep it at the world champion level, and then you got to bring it back the next in line to make sure he's got to take the fight. And I think this is one of the debates we had in the past, and this is what makes UFC successful. You got only one champion in one division. Right. You earn the spot for a challenger. You get no other belts, and people tend to like that. So if the WBA right now, it's really taking the heat and open and carving up the path to eventually keep just one world champion in every division. That is wonderful. That is great. And I kind of like it. Other than that, I mean, you're in your stride. You earn your way up. I think if you're ranked number 5 by the WBA, you shouldn't have a belt. You should have a rank. I'm ranked number 5. That gives me a legitimate opportunity to maybe contend for number 4, to fight number 3, to fight number 2, to eventually probably get a piece of that interim belt in where I'm up for next. But to keep the interim belt and I'm not going to fight for that, for the world champion in the WBA, it really makes no sense. I can't be hanging around with a belt not really fighting for the world champion. And nowadays, it's not about the mandatory. I think nowadays it's about the mega fights, because I could be ranked in any other divisions and I'm a superstar, I'm an elite, right? And guess what? I'm going to be invited to fight the other champion. So for that being said, if you're going to do the interim thing, make sure that there is a mandatory. If not, take that shit away and just keep that main world champion. It makes it a lot easier, and it actually solidifies you as a boxer. You are the number one. You are the world champion with that organization and in that division.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to ask you, and well said, Manny. I know that you're real passionate for, and we all are, as far as these smaller promoters. What do you think about that? Gilbert Mendoza said again on the Boxing Voice interview, which if you haven't heard, you definitely should check it out. Their podcast, where he was saying that he got feedback from, because the WBA is in Panama, that he heard from a promoter in Panama. For a lot of those smaller promoters, they need those subsidiary belts or those secondary class belts for their leverage, not just the big networks, obviously the big promoters, but the interim belt really helped them as far as, because there's not really a name. It gave them the leverage, right? It gave them leverage.
It's exposure.
So do you feel like they're going to lose out with this change, or the mandatory is going to have enough weight to where it can, make somebody, what's a mandatory? It's a mandatory, right?
They're going to lose. They're going to lose, right? It's not the same that you can take your interim belt or your gold belt or your platinum belt and you can come out and make a statement and say, guys, we are a gold champion. We're a platinum champion, right? Can we go ahead and negotiate to try to fight for that interim belt? I earned the stripes. But I think we have to go back into the rankings. If there's a ranking, there is a reason for a ranking. There's no reason I'm ranked number 2, I get the number 2 ranking belt. We don't need that. I think the rankings should be solid. I think the rankings should be legit in terms of, like, if I want to be a number 1 contender, right, in that specific division, and I'm ranked number 3, either I fight number 2 or I fight number 1 to actually eventually get an opportunity to rank number 1. But the problem is that if you are not elite and if you don't have anything that shines, which is a belt, no one's really going to look at you. And these all small promotions, they rely on some of these smaller belts so they can get more attraction to finally negotiate with, getting up there for an opportunity to contend for a world title. So I think they're going to lose a lot, sadly enough. But you know what? It is what it is. Keep working. I think rankings should be continued to edify. If you're 1, you're 1. If you're 2, you're 2, you're 3. I mean, top 5 should be able to do. And like I said, man, I love to see some kind of tournaments. We've seen the World Boxing Tournament that has been very successful. Inoue is part of that. I mean, Josh Taylor was part of that. Why can't we just take organizations and take the top, let's say the 2 from 6, do a round robin tournament? You got the number 1. Maybe he doesn't need to be there because he earned his spot to the number 1. Maybe he'll challenge the champion. But 2 to 6, let's do a round robin tournament. And let's see maybe if we can have 1 and 2 fight, make a great deal, and then all of a sudden you go in for the champion, which is whoever's.
That's what should be happening in boxing, anyways, man. All these the top 10 guys, the top 10 guys should be fighting each other always. As you keep moving up, just to solidify and position yourself to become the mandatory. But boxing too.
But on the other hand, I can see the medium, less elite boxers who eventually capture, for instance, on the WBO, you have the NABO WBO. When you capture the NABO WBO at that specific division, that gets you an opportunity to be seen at the top 10 level. So, I get that sometimes you want to strive to be there, being a champion. Maybe you didn't get to the level of the world champion, but hey, I was a NABO W, I was top 10. I mean, organizations want to reward it that way. That's okay. But to the fans, to the people that understand boxing, that's really not a whole lot. You work your way into the rank. You got where it need to be. Ultimately, the world champion, that's the belt that you need to promote and get out there and, bring in some big major fights with people they deserve to be up there.
Absolutely. Well said, brother. Man, I can tell you're passionate about this. So when Manny's passionate, that means get out his way. Speaking of passionate, appreciate it again. Another great comment from JD Boxing. Yes, exactly. Secondary titles are necessary, but only the extent of securing 1 official title shot challenger, which we've been saying. So less is more. It's going to create some challenges for, the little guy, but, like our brother Manny said, the little guys got to be able, when the opportunities present themselves, they have to take advantage and they have to, put out their best performance. Also, don't want to miss this comment too. Kind of goes back to something we were saying earlier in regards to the Yard Arthur fight. JD Box with another great comment. Also, Batausi above the domestic level of the UK, or would you all prefer him to fight Yard Arthur winner, Callum Johnson, or Craig Richards? Okay.
Yeah, I would rate Buatsi a higher than the domestic level. I think he's proven his mettle, and him fighting the Yardy Arthur winner would be fireworks. I would love to see that one. So there's some intriguing matchups that can be definitely be made. But no, I rate John Buatsi definitely higher than domestic level. The UK guys, there's a lot of them over there that belong in the domestic level. I mentioned two earlier when we opened the show, Sam Maxwell and Akeem Ennis-Brown. But no, Manny, you're disagreeing with me, Manny?
It's not that I disagree. There's someone that I really want to be able to see and shine in that division. And, the winner of Yardy and Arthur, for me, I love to see him against Gilberto Ramirez. I think Gilberto Ramirez will be a fantastic fight for him. I would love to see that. I think it's a really good test at the 175 level for Ramirez to be able to get there. There's great fights that I can see. I love Caleb Johnson, Craig Richards. It's also really good. Could be a potential there. I think, like I said, tournaments are great. I love to see a light heavyweight tournament with all these guys, but I don't see that happening at all. But honestly, there's a big threat, not only for Bertavit, for Dimitri Bivol, and for Joe Smith, I think that will be Zurdo Ramirez.
That's who I want to see. Now that you brought up Zurdo, you're going to get me talking about Zurdo Ramirez. That's who I want. I want to see him fight Bivol, Beaterbiv,
exactly.
Smith. That's who Zurdo needs to fight. And I think Zurdo has come out and said he wants all the smoke. He wants to fight these guys. But they're not mentioning his name. They want nothing to do with him. Like, they know what's up. They don't want no piece of Zurdo, what it seems. But Zurdo does. Zurdo wants all the smoke. He called all of them out.
Absolutely. So great comment question there, JD Boxing. So Batausi, absolutely better than a regular, domestic fighter. I think that he's definitely a name, and I would love for that to happen to get the Yard Arthur winner. But our brothers, Hopper and Manny, that's an excellent point. Zurdo, I mean, there's a lot of potential there. So I'm all for it. But yeah, Batausi, I got a high opinion of him for sure.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I think Linder Arthur has a really good opportunity, limited chance to really beat Yardy. I think he does. I think he'd probably be a little bit stronger than him, and he has a much better chance of following. And that can bring something different into the light heavyweights, and we'll see what would happen later on. But even up to that, I don't want to part ways as well with even Jesse Park. Jesse Park can actually still.
Somebody got a fantasy football alert.
I know, right?
No, that was just ESPN. Denise is on the line.
Hey, are you drafting right now, brother, or what?
No, Miss Denise is important, man. Thanks for checking us out, man. She said good afternoon, much love to her.
Much love to you, Miss Denise. Any more voicemails, Gringo?
Actually, there is another voicemail.
What?
And it's from Grand Prairie, so it's important.
Grand Prairie.
Gracias a todos. Viva México, cabrones.
That's Canelo.
Every time we get a voicemail from Grand Prairie, I mean,
Canelo.
Let's see what it is. Let's make sure it's not a bill collector. Let's see what it is.
This is Craig here from Oak Cliff. First of all, I want to say I love the show. Just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on the whole, Jamal Charlo incident. Seems kind of weak to me. Trying to find a waitress, but really care to see. Really want to see what you guys think about the whole issue. Hopper, keep up the good work, man. Love you guys. Love the show. Long live boxing EnVivo, guys. Thank you.
EnVivo. Wow.
Okay, so
I had to take a sip.
It wasn't a bill collector.
And he said he was from All
right, so gotta take it one step at a time. So for those that don't know, the situation, it was on TMZ. It was that wasn't Charlo trying to call in. So it was TMZ about Charlo and Jamal Charlo. Let's say that big Jamal Charlo. It allegedly happened the night of his brother fighting for the undisputed fight. That they were in San Antonio, and it was at a club. So his side of the story, I'll give what it was reported, and then what the club is indicating on what happened.
The affidavit that we have.
Right. So then you guys can make up your own minds on what you think.
Check it out. There's a
basically, he was there with his entourage. They were in the club at VIP. It was time to pay the bill. He presented a credit card. The credit card was declined. It didn't go through. The waitress took the card, and she also took the ID, which made Jamal uncomfortable. And he wanted to present another card. He's claiming at some point that the card was lost. This is his side, that the card was lost, and that the ID that he wanted to present, he was going to present another card. And within that time frame, they went back to the card and presented another card to pay for the bill. And his entourage got him out of there, out of the club venue, which I don't have the name of. I guess
somewhere in San Antonio.
Yeah, somewhere in San Antonio.
He was there for
it's called Bot Martini Bar and Social Club.
Oh, okay, yeah. He was there for the Jermel when his brother when he got pieced up by Brian Centeno, but they gave him the freaking lucky draw. But yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of it, Gringo.
So wait, that's Charlo's side.
That's Charlo's side, right?
Yeah, so he was saying that he was uncomfortable, and that the waitress, she had like they have the billfold that they hold the bill in it, and he grabbed it. He grabbed it because it had his card in there. He was taking back his property. He wasn't taking anyone else's property.
But he took a binder full cash from a previous customer, which had paid cash. And that was probably bulked in there. And anyone that you've been a waiter or waitress in the past, for a fact you got probably a couple taps in hand, and you're grabbing all of them and you're taking some of the cash.
Yeah. So So the thing is, though, again, allegedly, the club and the police have reviewed. There's video footage of Jamal Charlo freaking out.
Being aggressive,
going crazy, being very upset. Yeah, being aggressive to the point where the waitress fell and was injured, allegedly, like her leg was injured, and that to what Manny said, that Jamal took two binders, one which was his with the card that declined, the other with that had another customer that paid in cash, and he took both within the dispute, right? And so then he and his entourage and party left. And I believe this past Wednesday of this last week that they went ahead and he turned himself in.
Yeah.
So as far as answering the voicemail, horrible situation. I mean, I get it. You're Jamal Charlo, hothead, #1, but man, there's got to be a better way to handle things, I know from being a broke brother, the embarrassment of having your card declined, but damn, take it out on the waitress.
And here's the thing, and here's the thing, man. Like the guy said, he's from Oak Cliff, so I can understand why he said what he said. He said that he called it weak, and I have to agree with him. I think it's a weak ass move to try to bow up to a waitress like that, because he didn't get arrested right then and there. The police actually came and afterwards, after they reviewed the footage, and felt that there was enough evidence to move on with the arrest warrant. So I haven't seen the video, so I can only imagine how Jamal must have reacted. And speaking from personal experience, when we were just recently, like 2 weeks ago, we were in Orlando, and we went to McDonald's, for some food, and my card was declined. My debit card was declined. All right. So I gave my wife's debit card. That was declined too, which was odd because, there's not a lot of funds, but there's some funds in there. So we used our credit card. That was declined too. At that point, I said, come on. That's something to do with your machine. So we paid. Luckily, we had some cash in and out, and then the card was accepted somewhere else. But I didn't go in there and try to fight them or raise hell or, hey, you know who I am? I'm Jamal Charlo. No, I didn't do any of that, man. I just paid cash.
Jamal Charlo, by the way.
Well, I think it was more of a couple of things happened, right? You're a profile guy, #1, right? And I think these guys knew about it. And sometimes as an employee or as a waiter, you have a big profile guy in your account. All you're thinking is the tip, here's the tip. But when there's alcohol involved, whether it was Charlo or the people around them, you know for a fact there's going to be issues behind it. Whether you're not reacting properly. And I can understand Charlo's side to say, listen, my card's not going through. This guy's got millions in his account. You know, he probably
I know he's not broke.
But I think his reaction and the way he always reacts to the public,
to everything,
I don't think it was proper. And you stated the affidavit described Charlo snatching 2 bill collection binders from the waiter's hand. One of them that contained the cash and the other one contained his personal information. Right? Then he had yelled and threatened 3 individuals, and those individuals fell for their safety. But is it really felt for their safety, or they're like, this is a high-profile guy? I'm not understanding what's happening. All I need is I need this to be paid for, and all of a sudden you're getting management involved, and then you get a high-profile guy who's like, look at the mess it's causing this to be around, and then all of a sudden, the group pushed away, some of the employees, and then you got some camera footage watching as they leave the place in a limo, like there's nothing ever happened.
Like
and
they own everything.
Management had to really escort him out, so that way things don't escalate a little bit higher.
And Manny, Gringo, y'all know what makes this a really weak ass move in my part, and Jamar Charlo's part? He didn't do this when Daniel Jacobs charged his ass up backstage that one time. And that boy, Jamar Charlo stayed quiet. Daniel Jacobs went right up to him. What's up, bro? What's up? You want to get this action? Jamar Charlo turned, and it's not Lions only. It was Kittens only. He didn't say a damn thing to Daniel Jacobs when Daniel charged him up. But he wants to go up to a waitress. He wants to go hard at a waitress. Bro, get the fuck out of here, man. How does Canelo say it?
No, I completely agree, and I'll go ahead and say that I'm a fan. I mean, I'm from Houston. I'm a PBC apologist, rightly so. I have Al Heyman's picture on my wall. I love the PBC, but seriously, this has, and for those that put in hate comments, look, this is a weak ass move, straight up.
I mean, you got so many millions, you can solve this
now,
quickly.
Just real quick though,
and I think the fact that you have an anger issue, that's what my perspective is. There might be a slight anger issue and ego, which we know for a fact that's the case. And I don't know the Charlo brothers. I've never even spoken to them. I've never even been close. I think my brother Hopper has been the closest one from
I've been dissed by him. I've been dissed by them. They dissed me. I've tried to ask them questions, and they didn't like me. They are
different. They have ego. They know they're good at what they do. And they have a promotion company that backs them up that has the same mentality. And sometimes because you're a high-profile individual, that doesn't mean you can step above others. That doesn't mean you get ticked off because you have millions and your card's not going through. Hey, why don't you blame your bank? Your bank should be the one that's stating why the transaction's not going in, right? And if you have all that money, have we seen Floyd Mayweather having that kind of issue? No, I bring a whole bag full of Louis Vuitton bag full of cash. Here's my cash to you. Here it is. But why do we have to see the Charlo brothers, well, half of them, in this kind of dispute? And that's my concern, and that's my problem. I think this could have been solved. I think if I was, and maybe personality is different, but if I was in his position, I'm like, guys, shut the F up, okay? What do we need? Okay, great. Give me the bill. Let me pay. Let me use another card, whatever it is, and let me get the heck out of here because I don't want to be in the spotlight, and I can't allow that to happen in my career. And I think right now this is pretty depressing for them, and I'm glad that he actually turned himself in. Maybe he was a little bit under the influence of the alcohol and the environment and the party, and then later on he acknowledged, but I hope that this will help humble himself into any future situations you have outside of the ring, that you're able to manage it a lot better, because right now this doesn't look good on you, and that mugshot will go for the ages until they can live. So
hey, he looks cheeky. Looks like he's been getting
sad and depressing and all messed up. I mean, come on, I'll be embarrassed.
Hey, como que eating them tacos in San Antonio.
The Jews.
No, but that was that. Hey, but good stuff, fellas. I mean, I don't have anything else as far as boxing.
Yeah, I'm done with that subject. I on behalf of Charlo, I apologize to the waiter, waitress. They worked their asses off. right, to make the money. And these guys make very extremely minimum wage when it comes to waiter, $2 to $3 an hour. They live for tips. And I hope that this guy had tipped them well, because if you didn't, that is a shame on you. Millions of dollars you're making, you still want more millions because you don't want to fight real big guys, but you want to make the most out of it. And I think you guys should understand, listen, if I'm out in the public, I need to behave, and I need to make sure things are solved and things don't escalate the way it did. This could have been prevented, not only from Charlo, but maybe his entourage. You got to have someone in your circle of friends that overwatches for your image. And if you don't have any of that, I think you need to get rid of all of them and you start from scratch, because no one really cared other than we're Charlos, we're mean, and that's not the right attitude. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting ready to close things out here. We're up against it. And, hey, we love talking boxing, but we talked about what happened this week. We won't have a chance to, break down, but just real quick, because I'm not going to lie. I mean, good, bad, and different. Just want a real quick, let's say a one-word response.
JD, that Jacob incident, my brother Hopper mentioned it. Yep.
Are you guys going to watch Paul Woodley tonight?
What's that?
You going to watch Paul Woodley tonight? And if so, can I come over?
That's one of the things that I wanted to kind of mention before we head out is we got a schedule going on. And for those of you tonight, we got Jake Paul against Tyron Woodley. Things got heated up in the press conference and in the weigh-in. I mean, it looks like Jake Paul is taking things serious in the boxing world. He wants to become a champion. But not only that, Tyron Woodley is being trained by Wayne Mayweather, not only to fight for this fight, but he wants to train him to become a world champion. So there's more in stake to that. It's a Sunday. Preseason, I know I got the Cowboys preseason later on, which I'll be watching, but preseason's not a whole lot for me right now. I understand what my team's doing and what they need around, but, I got to tune in, guys. I mean, it is a show. It is a YouTuber, but it's a YouTuber that I have to give it up for the dedication and the passion he's got for the sport. So I'm going to be watching. I'm definitely going to be watching to that. Also as well, we got September 11th, De La Hoya and Bitter Belfort. Exhibition kind of / exhibition. There'll be a 10-rounder, not exhibition. So, then Anthony Joshua and, Alexander Usyk. That's interesting. And then we go October 5th with Teofimo Lopez and George Camboso. So we got pretty good schedules going on for the next couple of weeks. Tonight, Hopper, what are your thoughts about Jake's and Woodley, especially with all the stuff and the hype they're bringing to this, behind the scenes?
The Paul brothers. Hey, I'm all for it, man. If it's boxing, I'll enjoy it. I'll watch. It is what it is. They're gonna be here. They're making money off of it. They're not going anywhere. We might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, what I'm gonna say real quick. As far as I think, first of all, I can't wait to see Amanda Serrano on the undercard. I like the fact that you can say what you want about Jake Paul and the antics. He's giving these fighters, whether you like it or not, their biggest payday ever. So you got to give and clearly. Look, ESPN is talking about boxing way more, and they have Top Rank, partnering with them. So, people may not like it. And I'm not saying, anything special about him or anything like that. But, there's a lot of positive coming out of this. Is it all positive? No. But a lot of positive is coming out of it. And, I wish the success of the event. Yeah, I said it. Because if he's going to continue to, break the model, because a lot of fighters coming up don't fight, top guys. They fight, guys that are also making their prey debut. MMA guys is very common. They fight a different plethora and options of different variety of fighters. So I'm tired of trying to bash this guy. He's making it happen. And once he started helping these fighters get an opportunity. Granted, I'm not a fool. I know that people tune in 99.9%. Yeah, 99.9% of the people tune in are going to be wanting to watch Paul. They're not going to be caring about the undercard, but. Regardless,
I care about the undercard, and I care about that Puerto Rican and Mexican kind of sort of rivalry. And today, the rivalry continues on the female side. Yamile Mercados from Mexico against one of the best female boxers in the history of boxing in the female, Amanda Serrano. That's going to be a really good one, and I love that's one of the things I want to tune in today. I want to tune in for the show, which is the main event. But I also want to tune in for Amanda Serrano and Yamile Mercado. I think it's going to be great, beautiful women inside and outside the ring. It's going to be, guys, listen, if you guys are not tuning in not only into our podcast, into our Sunday previews, You got to tune in October. It is a month of champions. I don't think I've seen an October. I mean, we know October for its baseball, right? But October for boxing, it's huge when it comes to having Teofimo Cambosos, Tyson Fury, and Wilder, and also on top of that, Jamel Herring against Shakur Stevenson. That's going to be a fight that people want to go ahead and tune in October 23rd. And then things going on, and I think it's not completely set up, but it's leading to a great December. Josh Taylor may be fighting Jack Terrell. To be determined. We'll see, but that's for the undisputed junior welterweight. I'm glad to see. I really want to see, Josh Taylor back again to see what he really has, and then being able to defend all his belts. So we got a lot of boxing coming on, guys. A lot to talk about. We'll be having a podcast soon. This coming up Thursday. So tune in. We're excited about things that are happening. And man, what a way to spend a good Sunday watching not only football but also boxing.
Good stuff, brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to close it out real quick. Shout out to Elcano. Appreciate the respect and love, man. We appreciate
great job.
Brian, man, and how hard you
JD Boxing, appreciate you listening, JD Boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So last thing I want to say is, we'll be doing this again next week. And for those that don't know, don't forget, like my brother Manny said, we're putting out another podcast that's going to drop next week. It's going to be some Spanish content out there. We're working on some interviews.
We got a special guest this coming up Thursday. I don't want to reveal it yet, but we got a special guest, and we'll talk about it.
Can you give a hint? Are they Puerto Rican? Yes or no? Are they Puerto Rican?
It's Puerto Rican.
All right, so seriously, guys, thank you guys so much. Don't forget September 2nd, the purse bid. We'll be talking about that on the next show. Can't wait. Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Appreciate the support. We are out.
Vivo. Fuera.
¡Viva México, cabrón!